let's get this party started. All right. The last couple of weeks, I keep forgetting to give you my coach's quote. So today, I'm remembering it. It's actually a pretty good one. It's going to keep you motivated. From Lou Holtz. For those of you that know him, he is a football head coach. He says, life is 10% what happens to you and 40% of how you respond to it, which is perfect for tonight because you're going to get some good climbing work. It's going to depend on how you respond to it. So you know the drill. At the top, you have your fan, your towel, your full water bottle in your cage, ready to go. The goal is to drink up all that water by the end so that you are well hydrated and ready to go. So if you didn't hear, we're going to do some climbing efforts tonight. The nice part about tonight is each one of these is only 6 minutes and 30 seconds long. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 6-minute efforts. So each one's going to be a little different from the other. I want you to kind of think about it as if you're climbing 6 different hills. Each one is going to have its own special features. And we're going to use cadence and gearing, obviously, to help us kind of simulate that climbing feeling. So I hope you brought your strong legs for tonight. That's what you're going to need. We're going to kind of spin the legs out to start the cadence build. And then we're going to get right into these ladders of 6 minutes and a little. I don't know if anybody got a chance to get out and ride outside last week. Over the weekend, on Sunday, I rode from our house over to kind of the Spark Hill area. Did a ride with some people and then rode home. On the way home, which was all of 16 miles, I had a direct headwind the entire way. Like it never stopped. It was so grueling. I swear it was like 25-mile-an-hour winds. So it was, and of course it was about 2,000 feet of climbing in the process of that 15 miles. So it was crazy. It was crazy getting home. I was definitely ready to be done when I got home. But the wind recently has been pretty brutal. So hopefully when we get out next time, we won't have to deal with that. It does make you stronger though, that's for sure. If you're riding in the wind all the time, into the wind, you got to work hard to get where you want to go. So what's the key to riding in the wind? The key is don't fight it. Don't try to put yourself in a big, heavy gear and slow your cadence down. Actually allow yourself to keep your legs spinning, because if you try to power through it, you're just going to waste yourself and have no legs left anyway. So allowing yourself to shift down, you might go a little bit slower. You're going to go slower anyway because of the wind. and just allow yourself to spin and recover that way. All right, so we're ready to get started here. We're going to start with just a cadence build. We've done these before. We're going to start at a 90 cadence, move to 100, move to 110 for the last 30 seconds. So it's 15, 15, 30. So we're moving through this pretty quickly. I want you to pick a gear that forces you to work a little bit for that 110. You're going to hold that a little longer than the other two. We're going to do this for 5 minutes. So find a gear that you think you can hold 110 in. We're going to start off at 90 for 15. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Just start to build this. Start to get the legs going. Move through the cadences. Now, if 110 is too much, then just start a little lower. Bringing your cadence up to 100. If you've started lower and you started at 85, maybe go to 95. And then the last 30, which is now, bring it up as high as you can go. Try to hold 110. Even if you're getting to 115, that's fine too. You just have to make sure you're holding that for 30 seconds, 10 to go. This is going to open up the legs. 3, 2, back down to 90. 90, you'll feel like nothing now. That's what we want to have happen. We want your legs to come up to 100. Bringing it up. Be patient. Don't go over 100 until now. Bringing it up. 30 seconds high. 110 or above. Really going for it. Hold that core. Lighten your upper body. 3, 2, back to 90. Now you're starting to feel the rhythm. Up to 100. Holding that steady. The body's probably starting to warm up now. And to 110. Really work it. Hitting that high cadence. Try not to bounce by holding your core. Pull your belly button in. Get your body tall. 3, 2, back to 90. 3 minutes down. 2 more to go. And up to 100. If you're in the right gear, you should be able to maintain these. And a 110. Let's go. Make sure you're in the right gear. If you're really struggling to get to here, hopefully you're feeling a little burn. Back to 90. Last minute. And to 100. Feeling steady now. The last 30 seconds. Bring up that cadence. All out. Warming up. Getting the heart and lungs ready. Getting the muscles ready. Three, two, one. Find an easy gear. Take a drink. Nice and easy. All right. Little recovery. And then we'll move into our first effort. All right. So how's this first one going to go? As I said, it's 6 minutes and 30 seconds long. It's going to start off with a nice 30 seconds at an 80 cadence, just like we would be kind of approaching the hill. Then we're going to do a minute at 70, 2 minutes at 60, and the last 3 minutes at 50 cadence. So with each one of those cadence changes, we are obviously going to be changing our gearing. So as always, if you need to change the gearing, either easier or harder, you are welcome to do that. But I want you achieving the cadences that I'm going to suggest. So it's the cadence that's most important here. That's going to create what you're doing in terms of climbing that hill. But don't cheat yourself out either. Don't put it in an easy gear and spin at 50, not doing any work. So let's start off with our big ring and our 19. So keep in mind, if you're 25 at the top, 25, 23, 21, 19, it might be 4 or 5 gears down from your largest cog in the back. Go ahead and get there. We're looking at 30 seconds at an 80 cadence. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Pick the right gear. Just holding 80. Nice and steady. Gradually approaching this climb. You're starting to see it coming up in front of you. You're going to shift to one harder gear. Go ahead and go there. Bring that cadence down to 70. Holding that steady. We're going to stay here for a minute. Now remember, you don't want to be pushing your heels down. You don't want to be pointing your toes. You want a nice fluid pedal stroke. Nice flat feet. Using that upward part of the stroke. When I count it down, you're going to shift to another harder gear. Down to 60. 3, 2, 1. Looking for 60. Probably around your 15. 2 minutes at 60. That hill's getting a little steeper, a little harder. And remember, your body, your torso should be nice and long. Your back should be flat. And you're using the strength of your quads, your glutes, hamstrings, even your calf muscles to make this happen. 1 minute down here. 1 to go. If you don't have your fan on already, might want to hit that on button. When we get to the next shift change, your tendency is going to be, really? You want me to pedal at 50? Yeah. That's the cadence I want you at. So that means the gearing has to match that. Building climbing strength. It's the best way to do it indoors. Three, two, one harder gear. Bringing it down to 50. If you need 2 harder gears, that's fine too. I was cheating myself. There we go. Right where I want it to be. Now you're going to really feel this. You know that feeling when you get near the top of a hill? You're starting to convince yourself, oh my God, how am I going to make it? First thing you got to do is change that attitude and say, all right, I'm almost to the top. I got this. Doesn't matter how low your cadence is. Just keep looking for the top. Looking for the finish. This is the longest of the whole set. 3 minutes total. We're almost to the halfway point. Halfway. Keep grinding this out. I like the fact that everybody's nice and still on the top. Nobody's grinding this away. That's not going to help. Just build that leg strength. If you want to do anything, take a deep breath. Get your hips in the right place so that you can make these pedals go around and around. $45 to go. Some people love these kind of workouts. Other people really are challenged by them. But as you've seen, every week we mix it up. So you're getting a little bit of everything. Touching on all kinds of zones. Working fast twitch, slow twitch, all kinds of different muscle fibers. Three, two, one. Give yourself to the small ring. Shift it up to that easiest gear. 2 minutes easy. Spin that out. Take a drink. Good job on that one. Now the hard part about this next effort is we're going to do exactly what we just did, but we're doing it in the reverse, meaning 3 minutes at 50 to start. And each shift, we're increasing our cadence. The time frame will get shorter, but the cadence will get faster. So it's like doing a mountain in reverse. But that first 3 minutes is going to be the hardest part because you have to stay at that low cadence, kind of wasting the legs a little bit. And that's why we don't ride in a hard gear at 50 cadence all the time, because the legs just can't manage it. It's just too hard. So if you remember what gear you were in for that 50 cadence, you don't have to go there yet, but that's where you're going to start this next block. And it's the same. 3 minutes at 50, 2 at 60, 1 at 70, and 30 seconds at 80. So we're going to move that through that time perspective. All right, find your big ring all the way down to whatever gear you were in that held you at 50. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, right to that cadence. Remember, don't cheat yourself out. If you're hitting 56, 57, get a heavier gear. Shift down to one harder gear. Find that place on your bars where you feel most comfortable. Keeping those elbows a little slightly bent. Keeping the shoulders down. And actually look at the screen, because that's what happens when you ride. We also need to strengthen our neck muscles. When you start riding outside again, you'll notice that your neck might start to hurt just from the ground vibration. We don't get any of that indoors. All right, we're halfway. Now you might start noticing that your legs are like, this isn't so bad. Because now they're getting warmed up. So we have a rule in our family that if you're on a ride and somebody's cable breaks and they're stuck in their hardest gear, whoever's riding with us, everybody has to stay in that gear. And it's always interesting how, as you ride home, typically you're in your small ring in your 12. Your legs kind of get accustomed to it, but yet they're working really hard. Climbing makes it really hard, not having any gears. All right, we're coming up to 3 minutes. When I count it down, an easier gear or two, Get yourself to 60. 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes. Now this is the hard part. The transition from really low cadence to bringing the legs back to some speed. So it's okay if initially you're not getting there. You will. The legs will come around. They might just need a little time to switch gears. Now we're seated for all these. In our next blocks, we're going to do some standing. So just get yourself ready for that. 1 minute to go here. Going to keep the legs guessing tonight. So for those of you that have known me for a while, you know that Sunday is my most favorite day of the year. When we change our clocks, woohoo! It gives us more daylight to ride our bikes. Stay controlled here. Don't catch yourself moving around in your upper body. We're about to make a shift. Bring that cadence up to 70. In 3, 2, 1. Bring it up. 1 shift or 2. Whatever you need. This is always the hardest way to go. The legs kind of have a delayed reaction. They kind of look at you and go, "You want me to do what?" Might be feeling the quads at this point. If you're pulling up on those pedals, you're going to use all of those muscle groups in your thighs. 3, 2, bring it up to 80 cadence. Only 30 seconds. Going for the top. Pedaling hard to get there. 3, 2, 1. Depending on where you are in the cassette, you might want to shift down to a couple harder gears before you shift to your small ring and you get to recover. Take a drink. Good one. All right. Now we're going to mix it up. For each one of these moving forward for this next set, you're going to start by standing up for a designated period of time. So you kind of have a sense of what gears you were in to make those cadences happen. So we're going to go again, 80, 70, 60, 50. But the first 15 seconds of that first 30 seconds is going to be standing. Then you're going to sit for 15. Then the next one, you're going to stand for 30, then play out the last 30. Then you're going to stand for 45, play out the rest of that minute and 15, seated. And then you're going to stand for a minute, and then get seated for 2. So the gears are going to help you because we all know before you stand up, you definitely need to shift to 2, maybe 3 harder gears. But the first couple of these might challenge you a bit. But that's okay because you're not going to be standing for too long. And that's just going to help you build the ability to do that. Remember, you're standing straight up. Hands are in your hoods. Hips are over your ankles, not over the bars with your chest. And you want to feel just a tiny bit of that saddle between your legs. So go ahead and get to your big ring. Shift down to whatever gear you had for 80 cadence. We're going to stand for 15 and sit for 15 at 80. 3, 2, 1. When you stand, just stand at whatever cadence you can hold with a little bit of challenge for yourself. If you want to hold 80 here, then go for it. Sitting down, getting that cadence to 80. You might have to push yourself a little to make it happen. Shifting down, 1 harder gear, 30 seconds standing. This is going to go fast. When you sit down for this one, it's going to be at a 70 cadence. Three, 2, 30 seconds at 70. Come on, work it. Force yourself to find that right cadence. Next one's coming up. Shifting down, 1 harder gear, standing up for 45. Allow yourself to have a little bit of shock absorption in your arms. Try not to drop your feet to the bottom. Feel yourself coming up and over. Sitting down, finding 60. 60 for a minute and 15. You should be really solid on this one now. Pay attention to your breathing. You're not forcing the air out. Not just let yourself breathe naturally. Let your face relax. When we do hard efforts, we tend to clench our teeth, pull our faces back. The legs feel all that tension. All right, we're coming up on our last 3 minutes. Shifting down, standing up for a minute. Harder gear, enough resistance. A minute standing, 2 seated. at a 50 cadence. Feel your core being tight while you're standing. And again, your back should be relatively flat, with just a little curve at the top where your hands come down. 3, 2, sitting down, 50 cadence. Force yourself to stay light here. Oh, my little baby fan. It's died on me. The nice part about these little fans, you just plug them in and they charge right back up. Almost to 2 minutes. Almost to the top of this climb. You can see the finish in the distance. It's a minute away. Feel the strength in your legs. It's starting to come to life. If you need a drink during any of these, don't wait for me to tell you. Take a drink before you're thirsty. If anybody's starting to feel these efforts in your knees in a bad way, and just lighten up the gearing just a tad. 3, 2, down to your small ring, up to an easy gear. Woo! Take a drink. Towel off. On to page 2. Forgot to mention it was a 2-pager. All right. Great job, guys. You probably already know what's going to happen here. But I'm going to throw a little twist at you. Instead of standing for the first minute, you're going to stand for the last minute for that first 50. So you're going to go 2 minutes at a 50 cadence, and then you're going to stand up for a minute. So it's in the reverse, which is going to add a little fatigue to the legs before you have to stand up. And know that that's typically when you might choose to stand. When your legs start to feel like they can't turn over, it might be a good idea to shift down a few harder gears and stand up. This, though, we're going to stay in the gear that you're in, which is going to force you to have to figure out how to make those standing efforts work in whatever gear you're in. So it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. 1 minute standing in the first, then 45, then 30, then 15. But at the end of the effort, not at the beginning. All right, so get to your big ring. Get to that gear that had you at 50. 2 minutes here. Let's go. We're grinding this out. This is a tough climb right from the get-go. It's steep at the bottom and kind of levels out at the top. The body's well warmed up now. Now is when you really have to concentrate on all those things that are going to keep you pedaling efficiently. Make sure you're thinking about pedaling evenly. If you're pushing harder with one leg, then the bike might have a sound to it. Your body might be leaning toward that way. So do a check. See if you feel yourself pedaling evenly. Some computers now have a balance indicator letting you know if you're pedaling harder with one leg than the other. All right, we're coming up on 2. Hands in the hoods. 3, 2, standing up. 1 minute in this gear. If you feel yourself balanced enough and your hips are back, you'll feel the pressure in your hands change. It will actually release a little pressure. If your hips are too forward, you're going to feel all the pressure in your hands. So get your hips right over those ankles. Almost there. Stick with it. 3, 2, sitting down. Easy your gear. Bring your cadence up to 60. Find 60. Just like the last one. Sometimes it's harder to go in reverse. We're going to go 1:15. Then we're going to stand up for the last 45. Be consistent. My cadence is dead on. It's not jumping around. Get good at being solid in their effort output. Almost there. Hands in the hoods. And up. Now you could probably get a little bit of a higher cadence going here. And again, always think about the placement of those hips. When we sit down, I'm going to bring that cadence to 70 and an easier gear. 3, 2, 1. Easier gear. Bring it to 70. Hold it right there. You're going to go 30 seated, 30 standing. In your hoods, standing up. Move this gear. Bring your cadence up. If you go too slow, you're going to bottom out. Almost to the last 30. Sitting back down, making that shift, bringing that cadence up to 80. Let's go. The body's like, yeah, I like this cadence. Standing up. Last 15. Fast legs, let's go. Feel the burn. Yeah. And sit down. Small ring. You might want to shift down a few gears before you go to that small ring. Take a drink. Towel off. All right, great job, guys. You always know, these kind of workouts, we're going to finish with some fast legs. All that heavy work makes the legs lots of blood in them, so therefore they feel really pumped up, blown up, kind of like a weightlifter. If they do biceps for too long, they feel like their biceps are going to explode. You might feel like your legs are going to explode right now. So we're going to give you a little recovery here, and then we're going to move into just something to get the legs feeling fresh again. Similar to how we started. A little cadence build, just to bring them back to life. And as always, this last part of the workout is the most important to start the recovery for the next day. So tonight is really important. I think I told you I had an athlete of mine who was new to the recovery source. And she decided after one workout that was an hour-and-a-half ride, she didn't feel like doing a recovery. Well, she went to ride the next day and her legs felt like crap. And she said, I guess Mara was right. Those recovery shakes do work. So she's sold. That's how it should happen, is trial and error. All right, so whatever gear you're in right now, which should be your small ring and your easiest gear, I want you to shift down 3 gears. In this gear, I want you to hold 90. But as always, I want you to hold that 90, but make sure the legs are just spinning. Not that you're working them hard or you're forcing them to go there. Just let them spin. Work on lightening up your hands, bending those elbows. Find all those points that I constantly talk about and put them in the right place. Nice solid core, nice flat back, shoulders are down, feet are moving through the pedal stroke evenly and smoothly. And because you're in a relatively easy gear, it shouldn't be hard to keep those legs turning over. What you might find happening, which happened to me, is because I started doing all that, my cadence was going up. Which proves to us that if you relax, then you can allow yourself to spin a little easier, which is what you should be doing if you're ever riding in a group and you're in a pace line. That's the purpose of being the third person in the line. Time to rest. Time to just push the legs without any effort. So I want you to shift one easier gear. Increase that cadence. Get yourself up to maybe 100, 105. Really work it. Go through that list again. Are your hands light? Are your elbows bent? Are your shoulders down? Is your core tight? Are you sitting in the saddle? Not on the edge of it, not on the front of it. Use the saddle to support you. That's why it's there. If you can't sit in that saddle properly, then you might have the wrong saddle. Keep those legs turning, keeping that cadence high. We're getting these legs to twitch again. They're not bogged down by the gearing or the cadences that we were holding. Don't be surprised if you might feel this workout a little bit, even in your ankles. Sometimes some people feel it on the backs of their knees, just from the force of that heavier gear. Keep holding this. We're going to make another shift here. If you can get that cadence up to 105, 110, when we make that shift, go for it, but keep it light. 3, 2, one more easier shift. If you're starting to bounce, then just back down that cadence a little bit. The gearing might just be a little too easy to keep those legs moving. I know mine are starting to feel like they're coming back to life. I hope you're feeling the same. Nice fast spin. If you need a drink, go ahead and take it. You should be almost done with your water bottle at this point anyway. Finish up that bottle. You're going to hold this here another minute. Feel it be just the legs going fast. I love this feeling when you feel like you don't even have to put any effort into the pedal stroke. It's a good cool down. So a reminder to everyone, as I said earlier, don't forget to change your clocks Saturday night. I know my mother will call to remind me, as she does every single year of my life, which is so cute. Unfortunately, we lose that hour of sleep. And one more shift. You should be at the top of the cassette. Easiest gear. Just pedal at whatever cadence feels comfortable right now. So even though we're gaining that hour, nothing's going to change here unless for some reason the participation starts to get low. But I would think through March, maybe into April, we'll see how it goes, see who wants to continue to keep having these. And then more than likely, we'll be done by somewhere around the holidays in April. And then it's time to full on Fletch, get outside on a regular basis. All right, one more minute, and then we will be done for the night. I already see some people popping off. That's fine. I like to give you a full, almost an hour. Maybe we'll actually get some snow between now and the end of March. I don't think I want to be out in California where they have no idea how to deal with it. All right, your body should be stopping the sweating process at this point. Heart rate should be nice and low. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Good workout. The legs might be feeling that one tomorrow. Woo!